And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 243. So I hope you guys had a great day and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. So happy Memorial Day 2025 to everyone. And I do want to say thank you so much to all of the brave, people in the military with any branch, whether you're in the Air Force, the Marines, the regular military that we all know and love. You guys fought so hard and our veterans did. So we could have this great place known as America. So we can celebrate being on the internet, on webcams, on a podcast, on a Monday, 7 o'clock in the day, talking to two black men and a Spanish guy. So you guys fought for that. So, oh gosh. But no, I truly mean that. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving your time. And, I know it's not always easy being in the army or the military, so to speak, but thank you guys for giving us this country. It's amazing, honestly. And for anyone to tell you that you don't deserve a parade for how much you guys have did, they're pieces of shit. It's funny how, like, freaking hell, CNN on their panels will be like, man, like, I hate the fact that Trump is trying to basically give, like, the military a parade. We have a parade where dudes straight up fuck each other in the ass. And that is celebrated for an entire month. A month that's celebrated for. But God forbid, the president wants to give back to the people that serve the country. No, can't have that because they said it's flexing his dick. He's flexing his military. Yeah. I'm not kidding you. I'll actually send you guys that. It's actually insane logic we have. Gay parades with dudes fucking each other in the ass. Acceptable. Celebrating our military. Let's not go too far here. What? Jesus Christ. But as you guys know, I had some tweets that blew up in the past like week or two because I was doing my usual thing as Verbal Riot, and Bob knows I love to trash talk, I love to entertain, I love to, go a little too far sometimes, and that could also get me in trouble, But I want to tell people this. I always have to make sure I clarify this. I'm just trash talking because I'm just joking around. It's nothing like super like I hate you as a fucking person. I don't know where that came from. Keep in mind the tweet that I'll talk about later on. Probably not this episode. I'll probably talk about it when Savage Jack comes back from vacation. Keep in mind, guys. I just typed that when I was like laying on my bed at like 10 o'clock at night. You think I was thinking about what I was saying? I just wanted to shit talk. That's just what I do. I even shit talk for Kata. I said I was gonna clap him in a debate. Debate never happened because that's just what I do. I promote engagement here. That's what I do. I am a professional through and through. But yes, we'll do outros and then we'll have some cool guy conversation because that's what you guys are all here for. It's the guy conversation that you get the honest truth from. I'm basically a patriot for the American comic book industry. Also, rest in peace, Peter David. He passed away. So legendary comic book, writer and creator. He's also one of the co-creators of a character you guys saw in Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, the guy named Miguel Ojeda, Spider-Man 2099. He was the co-creator of, actually. It's crazy. Marvel made all this money off his work. Tons of it. And you know what he got? No insurance. So that's what happens. Yeah, it's been revealed. You make no insurance when you work for like comic book companies like such as Marvel and DC and Image and Dark Horse and all that stuff. Actually, basically, it's kind of like my job is treated. You get paid. Glad you're here. Goodbye when you clock out. That's essentially it, and it's a very, very, very.
Because technically, they're under. It's a contract thing. It's a contract gig.
Yeah.
So.
Ugh, God.
It's messed up, but.
Yeah. Even because what's crazy to me, dude? There are people like Jeremy Adams recently that got to be full-time DC. Do their full-time employees get benefits? I'm pretty sure their full-time employees don't even get benefits, honestly. I've never heard of that they have.
I think their full-time ones do, but but artists and writers, because they kind of come and go, I don't think they do. It's kind of like how like pro wrestling used to be. You know what I mean?
Oh God, yeah.
Back when like no one had insurance and it was all like buying street drugs just to like kill the pain and.
Oh God. So we'll start with verbal riot. He's black and back once again. You see what I did there, guys? I'm joking. No, we have Verbal Riot back again. He went out for the weekend, partied with some strippers, blew their backs out. He didn't pull a Shannon Sharp. He's not that kind of a black guy, but he's safe and sound, actually.
Well, aside from the strippers part, yeah. Uh,
God, how are the
I
biggest?
left those alone back in my 30s. So
How are the LA strippers out there? The Vegas ones I met were very good looking.
I
Let's
mean, it
just
depends
say.
on which one you go to, man. I mean, we have ones out here that is top of the line, and then you got those ghetto ones too. So I mean, it's like it depends
What's
really
the
which one you go to.
what's the
You can go
asking
to like the
price?
one in Beverly Hills where the girls look like they just stepped off a movie set, and then you can go to the one like down in like Inglewood where like they have stab wounds and shit. So I
Oh
mean,
God. Oh my God. How much they charge to get in? Like $50, $60?
no. Door is usually about $20 to get in.
Dude, the one we went to in Vegas for the meetup last month, $50 to get in there.
Well, yeah, because that's Vegas. Vegas is they're going to rail you, man. So
Oh God.
yeah.
$20 to get in. Oh
And the
damn, I'd
worst
be
part
fucking
about those
broke that
places,
night.
man, is like you pay that cover and they don't sell alcohol.
I heard of that too.
They
Yeah,
don't
some of
sell
them also
alcohol,
alcohol. Yeah.
but there's a 2-drink minimum that you have to buy. So you're paying like $20 to get in, and then $20 for like 2 Cokes. So technically, I guess it is about 40
How much
if
do the
you add
girls
all
charge
that
for
in.
dances? What was like $50 for a lap dance? $40?
Depends on the girl. Again,
What? That's crazy.
uh,
The one I went to in Vegas, the base price minimum one dance was $40, and like 3 songs is 180. 3 songs,
okay. So
$180.
if you go to okay, now we gotta talk about like the different
Break
degrees,
down the
right?
strip club industry.
No, because look, there's some bars that are just topless, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like they don't go bottomless. So those they usually charge between 20 to 30, right?
Mhm.
If you go to the fully nude strip clubs, then it goes to like 40 and up.
Yeah. Well, Bob loves movies. Back in your prime, did you ever indulge in a strip club type of
I'd be
phase?
lying if I said I didn't. Yeah, out here in Texas, the prices are a little bit cheaper for that. So, or at least they
More
were.
reasonable.
Yeah, like
How's
like
a
I remember,
Tuesday?
no, kind of like Verbal said, it would depend on what type of club you went to, whether it was topless or fully nude, and then it would also depend whether you went and got just a regular dance or if they took you to the VIP section, which
The
was
champagne
always,
room, yeah.
which was always more expensive. So it
I
just
didn't fall for
it,
that.
it would
No,
just
fuck
depend.
that. They take you to VIP section as a guy.
No,
You're
but
like, oh
this
my.
wasn't even like a champagne room. This was like, I mean, they still had that, but they had, a regular spot where they would go do the dances, and those would be like $10. And then they had another spot
$10.
that was the VIP that would be like $20 a dance. And then they had like their champagne room or whatever it was. But the strangest thing that ever happened to me at a strip club was there was somebody I was engaged to for a couple of years, and she used to dance, not when we were together, but several
She had
years.
quit by the time you got together. Okay.
But several years before. Well, she had turned around and said that she wanted to take me and a couple of other coworkers to one of the clubs that she used to dance at. And on the way there, she's telling me that she wants to get me a lap dance, and I'm like, no, don't give me a lap dance because I already know where this is going. But sure enough, yeah. So sure enough, we get to the club, and this lady out of the blue just comes walking up to me and says, "Oh, I'm going to give you a dance." And I was like, "No, I don't want to dance." And she's like, "Oh no, it was already paid for." Sure enough, she takes me over to the spot. My fiance was there waiting for me, and we sit down. I get the dance, and my fiance sitting there watching. And afterwards, she notices that I was happy, and she's like, "Oh, so you enjoyed that, huh?" I'm like, "No, I hate it when naked women dance all over me."
After she paid
like,
for it, by the way,
gonna happen.
She bought you the dance.
Yeah, exactly. You bought me the dance. I told you not to, but you still bought it anyway. And then you expect was gonna happen?
No, that's some bullshit. That's a setup. That's a trap.
Exactly.
Right there. Yeah. She set you up.
Exactly. And I knew where it was going. As soon as she said, "I'm gonna buy you a dance."
Dude,
what did she expect was going to happen?
Better.
Exactly.
But I mean, what did she expect was going to happen?
I don't know. Maybe she thought I would push her off and be, "Go get off."
This is like women logic. Women logic make no sense sometimes. Hey, I'll just send you a naked girl to dance on you. How? Oh my God! I swear, girls are in constant Pikachu surprise face. Oh my God, you like that? No,
I can't believe you got hard.
Exactly.
girls literally, I swear, are the most enigmas of enigmas. Constant Pikachu surprise face. Or the most dumbest thing. I swear, dude, the clubs you had in Texas were better than the one. At least cheaper than the one that I went to in Vegas. I mean, you take a guy like me, rich, successful, single, good looking, charismatic, easy on the eyes, Lamborghini outside. You go to Vegas. I'm a guy that just works and comes home, and I do the content, as you guys know. Yeah, like all these hot naked girls there. You're like, I get to choose one. I didn't know we get to choose one for ourselves. I didn't think it was a thing. So I just sat down and girls came up next to me. The black girls were the worst. I'm not saying that because of my narratives. The black girls were the worst. First of all, their breaths stank. One of the ones was short. Her knees were ashy. You could tell she had a weave. She was like, no guys want to give me money tonight. I didn't want to tell her because I thought it was in my head, but I didn't tell her this. I was like, maybe it's because you're fucking ugly. Maybe because your personality stinks. Because, like, I'm like, every girl walks into you, they're trying to get a dance. That's it. That's their only goal is to make money. Understandable, right? But it's like I feel like the girls could have got more dances that night if they just were so pushy. Like the black girls were so damn pushy. They're like,
see that's the thing I hate the most. I hate the hard sell, right?
yeah,
Like if I go there and if I feel like inspired to want to get a dance, then
yeah.
then that's fine, right? But I hate the hard sell, dude. It's like, look, man, I'm there to relax and chill. And you're sitting there putting the pressure on me. I remember there's a place out here called Cheetahs in LA, in Hollywood. And some friends were visiting from out of town. And so they wanted to they wanted to kind of, hit the bars, hit the strip clubs. So we hit a few bars first. We went to one strip club called Buck Wild in downtown LA. And that was fun. We had a good time there. So then we went to Cheetahs in Hollywood. And this place kind of has a reputation, but for the most part, the girls are cute. So we go there. And by this time of the night, I'm a little like, tired. I'm like, I'm gonna just chill while because y'all visiting, y'all want to have a good time. Go get your dances, have a good time. So I'm just chilling, watching the stage, right? And even as I'm sitting at the stage, I'm not being an asshole. I'm still throwing ones. I'm throwing some ones on stage just to be festive. And this one chick, man, would not leave me alone, dude. Like she sat up next to me. I go to the bar, she went to the bar, and basically just kind of shadowed me until finally I was like, okay, yes, I will pay for a dance, right? I'm like, how much? And she's like, oh, $30. I'm like, all right, man. I didn't want to, but fine, whatever. And she was all right looking, she was cute. She wasn't like horrible. But dude, we go into the room, right? Into the dance room, the lab dance room. I won't even call it VIP because it was not a VIP. So we go into the room, and dude, literally, as the song had like 30 seconds left on it, right? She danced on me for like a few seconds, and then asked for the money, right? And I'm like, wait, I didn't get a full dance. Like, what because normally the protocol is you wait to the next song, right? You don't just
right.
do it at the end of the song. And she looked at me dead ass, hand out. And I'm like, wait a minute, we just got in here. And she was like, yeah, but it was one song. I'm like, the song was, and I didn't want to get into like a fight or an argument and look bad, but I was just like, I said, you know what? I'm paying you to go away. That's what I'm paying for. So I gave her the $30 and
because the strip clubs, at least the one I went to, you got some big motherfuckers in there looking like Shaq. These girls,
yeah, I don't want to get into it, man. It's like I don't want to be that guy, the guy to get like in a fight.
And then you're gonna have the angry black guy narrative attached to you, even though you didn't do anything wrong.
It's just bad. It's just a bad look for the club. You know what I mean? But then again, if you go to Cheetahs, you should probably expect shit like that.
Man, there were girls that were on the pole looking better than the girls on the floor. I was like, because the one girl that came up to me, she made me touch her, dude. I had to do it. She put my arms around her. Yeah, she molested me. I got R. Kelly'd. I'm just saying, man. Like, dude, she forced me to talk to her. No, she said all the right things. She said she liked anime. I was like, this is a lie. This is just a lie.
You know what's funny is that I remember I used to think to myself, all these dancers that were supposedly going through nursing school, I'm just like, you'd ask me, what do you know? I'm going through nursing school. I was like, that's bullshit, And then fast forward several years later, went into nursing school, and there was like 3 of them there that were actually dancing like on the weekends and stuff.
And you know what's crazy about that is, there's that whole like, and look, I don't know how true it is, but there's the thing about how like all nurses are hoes kind of thing,
Yeah.
and the sluttiest girls are nurses. Maybe there's a transition there, right? Like maybe they all go from the strip club to like nursing school, and I don't know. But the one thing I did notice, man, is I don't know. It seems like every club I've ever been to, the female bartenders and the female cocktail servers are always hotter than the actual dancers.
The receptionists at the club look
Yes.
amazing.
I
Oh
don't know
my
why. They're
god.
always hotter than the actual
Yeah.
dancers.
The receptionist, I was like, bruh, I need to ask you what it tastes like. God. I was like, fuck. Damn. Had me thinking some type of way. But yeah, when I go back to the strip club, if we go back to the fucking, if we go to Vegas then next year, which you probably should, no black girls. I'm gonna have a sign. No African American women shall be in my presence. That'll get me thrown out. That's segregation, essentially.
I mean, look, I've been to clubs where there were some hot black women. The thing is, though, like I will say, if you go to like the lower end strip clubs, right? It's they don't send their best, as Trump would say, right? It's like
That's on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. You
they
you
don't
think you
send you their
factor in like
best,
on the
man. It's
weekends. You factor in on the weekends, maybe you get the better looking girls. You go on a Tuesday night. I don't know if you're getting top tier quality on a
oh, dude,
Tuesday.
if you go anytime before Wednesday, and if you go during the day, you're asking for it. You're asking for it, man. You never go to the day shift at a strip club.
Oh God. Parker said my sister worked at a lower end strip club. Oh goodness gracious. Bob face palm. Oh my goodness. Riot, you gotta defend the black queens. MSK never. What do you mean? Check. Right. I'll ask him right now. For all the strippers you've ever had lap dances from, which ethnicity did you get the most from and the least from?
If I'm being
What do you
honest,
mean the most? And you mean
like honestly, like if I were to think about like just like majority wise, the majority have been Latina.
Oh yeah, those girls are.
The
Oh my
majority, I
goodness.
mean,
Okay, but the least would be
I
black.
would be Latina simply because of where I live. It's a predominantly Hispanic population.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's. I mean, no, I mean, there's a lot of white girls here too, but again, it just depends on where you go, man. Because like, I don't go to clubs. I don't go to strip clubs anymore anyway. But when
Me
I used to
neither.
go, they were all like in like well-off areas, man. I wouldn't go to like the ones in the bad areas because I was like, I'm not going to pay to see ugly chicks. But and it just so happened that the ones in the well-to-do areas were usually, white, Asian, Latina, a few black girls, and the few black girls they had were hot. So I mean, it just depends.
But the least amount of lap dances you did get were from black women.
The least, yes, but that's because of location.
Yeah, that's kind of mine too. It's location.
Oh God, it's never happened. She didn't trick me. I knew what it was like. I know women better than they know themselves. When next time I go, I'm gonna be a lot more prepared. It was a experience for the first time. And
It
now,
really was $50 just to get in.
yeah, I'm not kidding. It was
Well,
a
Vegas, dude, is
$50.
crazy.
Yeah, it
But
was.
did that
I
include the
forgot.
resort fee?
I don't know, honestly. I just chipped in a little bit. Well, to be fair, I didn't really chip in at all. They said they wanted to pay it for me because they wanted to see if I would crack under pressure around hot naked women. I'm like, I'm not. I'm not a demented weirdo. I'm not a fucking loser. So that didn't happen. So they paid for me, but no, it was $50 for each person. It's crazy, right?
Wait,
Yeah.
which one did you go to?
I'll be honest, I forgot. I didn't know the name. I forgot. I just went, but I remember the asking price was $50. Like what? $50 just to get in?
It wasn't that huge one, right? The one that they built out of an airport hangar.
It feels like it was because it was next to a freaking gas station construction
Because
site.
that one is crazy, man. Like that one is like huge. It's like the size of LAX,
Like it didn't
or
feel
half
big.
the size of LAX. I mean,
Wow.
They're calling that, man.
yeah, no, it's the biggest strip club in the world, and it's in Vegas. It's crazy. Right, and there's like different levels of it. You know what I mean? So
How was Cyfax? I want to see Cyfax at a strip club. I want to see him just completely just get twerked on by a black queen in his face. I need to see this in front of my face.
I'm
Just my
sure
own eyes.
Syfax has been to his share of clubs.
Goodness gracious, this guy will just allude to the fact that he's just using coke and meth when he was in a band. It's like, dude, you're white. Of course you did coke and meth in a band. What else would you guys do in your free time? What the hell? You know? But What else ended up happening this past weekend? Oh, everyone was talking about Lilo and Stitch. I don't even care if people spoil it. I was never that into Lilo and Stitch growing up. I thought it was just kind of, I don't know. This really hit for me, honestly. I know they had the TV series too after the movie, that animated
I
cartoon as
think
well.
so. But it was on the Disney Channel back when the
Yeah.
Disney Channel. Yeah,
Did you like the Lilo and Stitch movie, or did you see Mission Impossible?
I saw both.
Okay.
I saw Mission Impossible. Like Lilo and Stitch. Look, man, I don't. From what people were saying about it, I don't really have a problem with the changes they made, but that's because I have no loyalty or no connection to the original, right? Um, from what I've heard though, from people who are just normies, they like the movie. They say it's a good movie.
I liked it. I'm like you, Verbal. I know you said you didn't see it, but you didn't have a problem with the changes. I saw it. I didn't have a problem with at least the changes to the ending. The only problem I had was the changes to one of the characters, but that's just because I didn't think that the casting choice was very good for the character of Jumba. I didn't like the voice, the way that went with the character, and then the change they made. You said you didn't mind if you got spoiled, right, MSK?
Oh yeah, no, I don't care.
Oh, okay, so they actually made him the villain at the end, where he in the cartoon or in the original animated film he was not the main villain at the end of the film. So I didn't like that particular change, but I had no problems with the ending of the film, and I know a lot of people did. Uh, Ultimately, I wanted to see two things out of Lilo and Stitch. I wanted to see Stitch be cute, and I wanted to see him tear shit up. That was it. And as long as I saw those two things, I was going to be happy with it.
And you got it, right?
And having the original voice actor back to play Stitch again, I thought was pretty cool. So I was fine with it.
So there was I know Gary Nerdrotic. I met Gary. I like Gary a lot. He put a tweet out. He was linking his Mission Impossible 8 review. It's because we have 8 of these. Holy motherfuck. He linked that, he wanted to like it, but it fell short for him. And then you had people that basically said, like, well, you should have waited to release your review because if you release it, it'll tank the movie. And it's like, why would Gary's opinion tank the movie? I don't actually understand how this works. A movie's gonna tank regardless or do well, regardless of an opinion. Like most of us said, the Minecraft movie was gonna suck and it's gonna bomb because it looked like shit, but it did not because we literally giving an opinion has no control over that. I don't know where people even got that from.
But also, people put way too many. They put way too much. We don't have that much influence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we don't have nearly the influence people think we have. It's like, dude, we're not going to turn the tide for a movie success, right?
Yeah.
It's like we give our opinions, and some people listen to, and some people don't. This YouTube space, man, people don't realize how small it is, man. It's when you're talking about the country, when you're talking about the world, we are a microcosm of that.
Yeah.
And so like our influence, our critiques don't mean anything except to the people who listen to us.
Yeah. And then the other side of it was people that said, well, you're just the common sentiment, I don't agree with it, but if the common sentiment in the thread was like, well, you just kind of hate on everything. But don't the same people just want, I don't know. It feels like even when you give a genuine opinion, I'm not saying Gary never give a genuine opinion. I know he's being honest, but like it feels like when it's an opinion someone doesn't want to hear, they call it not genuine, and it's like, what would change that? Did me just to say what you agree with? I don't even know where that comes from.
But what's crazy too about this space too, man, is like, I appreciate every sub I have. I appreciate all my followers. I appreciate people who listen to me. But whenever I give a review, I always tell them, hey, don't take my word for it, man. Like, this is my opinion. This is what I thought about it. You guys might like it. You might hate it, but let that be on you. I remember when Drinker, he had made a post on X about how much he likes Sinners, man. And it's crazy how, like, if you looked at the comments, man, how people were like, they were turning on Drinker. I'm like, guys, he liked the film. It doesn't mean you will or you won't, but he thought it was a good film. You know what I mean?
The average person, I don't know if they're just stupid. Well, I know that they're just fucking dumb as hell because these people get married, which is automatically a bad decision. I'm joking, guys. So like I don't know what people really want anymore. They're like, okay, we don't want to listen to critics because critics don't like understand what we want as an audience.
It's fair. It's fair. Critics have kind of, sold their ass. So I mean, it's like that's fair to say.
Shills, and like I understand why people would be apprehensive of film criticism. It's very fair. But if you go in with a mindset thinking that the person that you watch content for and you like their content has to agree with all your opinions, I don't know why that would be a thing though, because if they disagree with you on a movie, come on, this is over movies. This is not politics. This is about how to raise your kids. This is about how to pay your bills. This is over movies. Like if you can't trust someone's opinion on a movie, I don't know who you'll trust then, honestly. Because come on, if I go to a movie,
But
let's say we
also,
all go
man,
to,
it's not even about. I mean, yeah. Look, here's the thing. If you know something is just shit, right? Like if you were watching The Acolyte and
well, that's
and you
peak
put out
cinema right there.
video after video about how good it is, obviously something's off. Like either you're a shield, something's off. You know what I mean? But no, but if it's something that's just, but here's the thing. I will say this: if you do have like just something genuinely that's maybe not popular, but you like it, like that. See, that's the weird
That can
line,
happen.
right?
Yeah.
Like that's the line. It's like, look, I'll admit there's tons of bad movies I love.
I really enjoy bad.
You know what I mean? Like there's some bad
Yeah.
movies that I will stand behind. I don't care what anyone says. It's like they're terrible. But here's the thing: I can
I'm a
admit they're
Sharknado
terrible.
enthusiast.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. I can admit they're bad movies, right? I can admit
Yeah.
they're terrible and still say I like them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference.
Yeah, I think the difference is the average person not understanding what is part of the conversation. So, like, if conversation starts here, the person that's the casual, and I'm being serious here, guys, and I'm always serial, joking. So, like, people think of conversations like this. They want it to like end in a certain way, but then they never actually got to the ending. So, someone will ask you, like, well, what do you think of this movie? And they think it's bad, but you said, I know it's bad, but I like it. They'll be like, so you still thought it was bad? It's like they're not even listening, you know? Like people don't even know what conversations they're in. It's like those college kids that go and like debate like Charlie Kirk or Officer Tatum, and you can see like you they're basically saying the end point without actually getting to the end point. They don't want to hear the middle part of it. The middle part of it is if you just want like a genuine surface level analytical point, I could give you that.
I can
But
give you, yeah.
yeah, but if you want me to actually tell you why I thought it was both good and bad, I'll do that. People aren't. It feels like people aren't trying to have conversation. They're just trying to get the surface level opinion out, and that's it. You know, that's what I feel like it's happening most of the time. Because like you look at some of these conversations like you did, and like the reason why, from what I understand, a lot of people in the space, even like yourself, are followers because people just think you're being on. If people think from your content, from how you portray yourself, you're being authentic. So if you watch a movie and you say, "Hey, I genuinely do enjoy this," and then other people see it and they don't enjoy it, why would that negate your opinion though? I don't know. That
Right.
doesn't make any sense. If you think I'm authentic, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. I'm telling you how I personally think. You know, also keep in mind, guys, none of us are getting paid to do this. If Disney were writing checks, I'd lie to you guys. I'm that much of a sellout. I'm joking.
Oh, look, if Disney were to write me a fat check every month, I
Talking
would
like
chill my ass off. Oh,
talking
I'd be
like
the biggest shill
$5,000 a
on
movie.
YouTube. Are you kidding me?
$5,000 a movie. I'll say Lilo and Stitch is a masterpiece. I don't even care. I'll allow my ass. You know. But it's just one of those things where
I
I
want
feel
some of
like
that mouse money.
You know, real quick,
yeah.
just to kind
Go
of
ahead.
throw in what you were saying earlier about how when people were saying, "Well, this could tank the movie," no, a lot of these already have built-in audiences. Like
Yeah.
Mission Impossible already had a built-in audience. People were
Yeah.
going to go see it. This
Regardless,
isn't
yeah.
going to be a movie that's going to win over a new audience. You're not going to have a ton of people that are brand new to Mission Impossible go see this last film. You might have a few that are curious here and there, because it's Tom Cruise's last Mission Impossible, but more than likely it's going to be the ones that have already seen all the other Mission Impossibles. It's not going to be a brand new audience. And then the ones that are already built in, they're going to go see it regardless of what review comes out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
If it's bad, they're still going to be like, all right, well, let me go see.
Yeah.
And let me see if
I'll
it's really that bad.
I'll just tackle on to Bob's point there. Like, it's one of these things where, you know, nothing Gary can say can tank a movie. You want to know why I know this? Because there's movies that we've all predicted that have done good in spite of us saying they're going to be bad. And then the opposite has happened, you know? Like, me saying that fucking, I don't know, Lilo and Stitch is going to bomb has no impact if it's going to bomb. That doesn't mean anything. That's just a prediction. I'm throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. You know, it's just how it works. Like, people also understand the movies, like we'll use a recent one, Snow White. That was going to fail because I knew that no one cared for that. I could tell you from the announcement alone it's DOA. Just from the announcement itself, I could tell it was going to fail because I knew nobody wanted that. You can tell, you can kind of gauge the kind of engagement on movies and see, okay, Does this have an audience still? Does have an audience still? We'll use an example like Scream. Scream movies have an audience. They'll go and pay big money for them. They always make profit, from what I know, even about the marketing budgets and everything, because there's an audience there. We'll see a Scream movie no matter what. Like Mission Impossible, the last one only really kind of failed because they kind of put his big blockbuster out before the two newest ones came in. Just that was kind of like bad timing more than anything. But like Tom Cruise has a massive audience, and if I told people I think Tom Cruise is the most overrated actor ever, that don't mean shit. You're gonna watch it regardless. It's Tom Cruise. The last Tom Cruise movie I watched was Top Gun Maverick 2. That was a great movie. That was a fantastic movie, honestly. I've seen every Mission Impossible movie except for the Reckoning ones. Fallout is so damn good. Holy shit, that movie's
Yeah,
good.
Fallout might be the best
Fallout's
of the
awesome.
bunch.
Yeah, my favorite is Fallout and 4. Ghost Protocol is so damn good. Go rewatch that
that
shit.
was a
That
good
shit
one too.
it was great. Yeah, I have a debate on 3 over Rogue Nation. I think 3 is stronger, but why people don't like number 2? Number 2 is the Star Wars prequel of the whole. I liked 2. I thought 2 was very fun.
See,
I
I'm
think
I'm, I'm a
one
little
is
more
very
controversial.
Oh no.
No, because I honestly I think Final Reckoning for me is the worst of the bunch. I think 2 is even better. I didn't Final Reckoning doesn't age well. Like it's not.
Did you like the one previously? Did you like 7?
I did. That's the thing. I like Dead Reckoning.
Okay.
And that's why I was surprised that I didn't gel with like Final Reckoning as much as I thought I would, because I went in hyped, like, I'm going to love this, but it just wasn't. I don't know. It didn't stick the landing.
I really enjoyed Final Reckoning. However, this is one of those cases where I can acknowledge that it is one of the weaker movies, and for me, I would put it just above Mission Impossible 2. I just put it just above that.
Just above. And that's fair.
Just above. And this would be one of the weaker of the series. I think they tried too much to tie it into all the other films.
Too many member berries.
It just got way too convoluted by them doing it that way.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. Look, for me, like, a good example of what we're talking about for me is Minecraft, right? Because Minecraft is not a good film, but I enjoyed it. It's definitely not a great film, but I really enjoyed Minecraft, and now here's the thing. Could I predict that it'd be like almost $1 billion film?
Oh no, there's no
not
way.
at all.
None of us did. To be fair, looking back in hindsight, it's one of those things where, given the fact that the game franchise itself, not the movie, the game franchise itself is that popular, I should have been a little bit more analytical about that. I should have factored in, because I'll be honest, I was wrong. The reason why I was wrong about it is I didn't factor in, if it's that popular with kids, they're gonna go no matter what. Like, it's just the same thing with the Mario Brothers movie. I heard the Mario Brothers movie that came out 2023 that made $1 billion. The story wasn't too strong on it, but it's Mario. They're gonna go see it.
And it was fun.
Mario.
It was fun. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Lilo and Stitch is going to make $1 billion. I think I even said it on this show that was my pick for the first film I thought this year that was going to make $1 billion, simply because Stitch has a fan base. If you go out and you look in the stores, there's Stitch products everywhere, and people like Lilo and Stitch, and
yes, Stitch is huge, man.
And like you said, Verbal, the normies out there are really digging this. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. Is it one that I rush out to see again? No, but at the same time, I can see where people are going to take their kids a second time to this.
I was about to say that. It's going to get multiple showings. Because kids want to see it again. It's going to hit $1 billion for sure. And it's probably going to be Disney's only $1 billion hit this year.
It's the same thing with Barbie. Like I was like, when I first heard the announcement of Barbie, I was like, that's just so stupid. But then I realized to myself, it's Barbie. Women are going to watch that regardless if it was bad or good or not. It's just going to have an audience, given the fact how big and massive it is. The other thing about the Mission Impossible movies, the thing that always kind of was more of a, you watch a movie franchise and you're liking it when the movies are good, but the thought is in the back of your head that the actual style of the film, if it ever got bad, would get really worse. So Mission Impossible, the reason why their greatest strength is also their greatest weakness is, Tom Cruise loves his action, he loves filming his long movies and stuff. Well, that could also be a big weakness, because if it's a movie like I've heard with the last two, the big problem with them is that the runtime is too long and the plot just stretches out and it's
3 hours, man.
yeah. See, when it's like Fallout and Ghost Protocol and Mission Impossible 3 and Rogue Nation, you're like, oh, I'm loving this. This is fucking grand. You're eating at a buffet. But if it's like almost 3 hours long and you're not liking it, well, yeah, that's gonna be a big, massive problem for a lot of people because you're not getting the benefits of it being a long movie. You're getting actually the worst benefits of it being a long movie. That's why I always felt like that franchise's problems was their greatest strength is their weakness. If these are too long and it's not good, that's gonna start getting bad because that's just wasted exposition and time. Because like they do talk a lot in those movies. There's a
Well, here's
lot
the
of
thing:
talking.
a good long movie, you don't feel it, man.
Right,
You
yeah.
feel it when it's not great.
Mhm.
When it's long and not great, like your ass starts to hurt. You know what I mean?
Look at this group of savvy, motivated personnel. Oh my God, that's good lord. Laps, I already paid you your millions of dollars for the year. You already have health insurance too. God, this man's on a 4-year contract and he's just asking me for more money. Yo, white man asking a black man for money. You don't hear that every day. But no, like
No.
the first $1 billion movie, I think is going to be Jurassic Park 7.
The only thing that I think that might hurt that is, aren't they saying that it's not going to get a whole lot of IMAX showings?
Shit, I did not know that.
Because if it
true?
does,
I haven't heard anything about that part.
I saw that on X. I'm not sure. I remember which source it was, but I remember reading that it wasn't going to get a whole lot of IMAX screenings. And
the movie
is
it is going to do well though.
Oh, I was actually talking about this with the other guys I do my podcast with, and what I mentioned to them is that the Jurassic World, Jurassic Park movies, they do real well internationally. So
Very well,
even
yeah.
if it doesn't do as well domestically, I think the international total will carry it. And if it doesn't hit $1 billion, it's going to get pretty close. And it's simply because I think that international number is really going to lift it up. And I could be wrong on that IMAX showing, but like I said, I
haven't heard anything about the IMAX. I think, but I mean, look, I honestly don't think it's going to hit $1 billion, but I do think it's going to be pretty high up there. I think it'll probably hit like 700-800 million. Because you have to remember, it's competing against Superman and Fantastic Four.
I actually think the only competition they actually have is Superman. Because looking at the past MCU box office numbers for Brave New World and Thunderbolts, I honestly think Fantastic Four is a non-factor, honestly. I literally think their only competition is just Superman, and that's slightly debatable only because, Superman's box office up and down. Sorry, it doesn't really go down, but like the box office surging is only dependent on how good of the word of mouth is for Superman. I generally think Fantastic Four coming out honestly means nothing. Looking back now at Brave New World's box office ending and Thunderbolts, it was crazy how people weren't calling Thunderbolts a failure. I'm like, it literally is a failure. Literally, it's not. Probably not even going to break even. That's a fucking failure. That's a complete massive failure.
You know why they're not calling it a failure?
Like
because they're not calling it a failure because they're confusing box office with the fact that the movie was decent.
Right. That's what
and they don't get that. Yeah. That doesn't mean anything. It's decent and it's still failing.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like, hey, I didn't hate the movie. I thought it was fine. It's like one of those. I call it just a popcorn flick. You just turn your brain off and you enjoy some fun. It's a fun movie if you just take it from that premise alone. But that doesn't mean that the movie's doing financially well. People always conflate the two. Like this movie's doing worse than Brave New World. And Brave New World ended at what, 429 worldwide? I think it's bad. So the MCU's damage to the brand is very much felt. Like they've released quite a number of bad movies to the point where like even one that's considered like a fun popcorn flick just isn't hitting good numbers anymore. Now, I've always said this, probably shouldn't be doing fucking movies on characters that people really don't know about because that's the number you're going to be getting. If no one knows who the fuck you are, you get like skeptical numbers like that. It could be very big or low. Now, if you release this movie, I guarantee you, I can't put money on this because we don't know the past is already the past. You drop this movie, I don't know, in a Doctor Strange, in like that period where Doctor Strange came out and like Thor Ragnarok, it's probably makes some pretty good money. Not $1 billion, but I think it hits a good $600 million, honestly. We're in 2025 now, and that's not going to happen. Just saying. Fantastic Four is
real quick, MSK. I just looked it up. It does look like that it's not getting an IMAX release on Jurassic World. So
that's crazy. It's actually insane.
So yeah, if that is the case, that could hurt it a little bit. I'm like I said, the international haul is still going to lift it up. So it still has a chance to get to that $1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Jurassic Park does so well overseas, man, that it's definitely going. It's going to hit some big numbers for sure.
Yeah,
even without the IMAX. But it's crazy that they don't have an IMAX showing.
maybe it's simply because Superman comes out like 10 days after or 9 days after, something like that.
Yeah, and you know what? And look, Fantastic Four probably isn't going to do as well as Superman. But don't sleep. It's still going to do fairly well. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I generally think it's gonna do slightly a bit better than Brave New World or a little under it. I think it's gonna probably
I'll tell you why.
flatline at 500.
I'll tell you why. Because number one, it looks nice and pretty and everything, but even though, but here's the thing, even though us in this YouTube space have, we've had our fill of Pedro Pascal, believe it or not, man, he's still a very popular actor and they'll show up for him. So, I mean, like, it has more working for it than against it.
I'm wanting to say, I just off the top of my head, if I had to bet, I would say it'd finish between 750, 800 million is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I say tops about 750. I say between 6 and 7. I don't think it'll go further than that, but it'll still do fairly well. Now, considering how much it costs to make it, I don't know how much profit it's going to make, but and remember, the Fantastic Four is what's going to kick off Doomsday, Secret Wars, and all that.
Yeah, Fantastic Four is the first movie of Phase 6. I'm pretty sure people didn't even remember what phase you were in because, like, Wakanda Forever ended Phase 4 and Thunderbolts ended Phase 5. It feels like.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Now here's what I want to know.
I had no idea what the phases are anymore.
Here's what I want to know. Initially, my understanding is that Spider-Man Brand New Day was supposed to. It was scheduled to come out after Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah,
because the story was supposed to tie in to Avengers Doomsday, from my understanding, or at least
it was supposed to take place after Doomsday.
Yeah. So now that they delayed Doomsday, are they going to delay Brand New Day? Because as far as I know, they haven't announced any delays on Brand New Day yet.
Well, they have to, right? I mean, if the storyline take place after, it's almost like they have to push it back.
I would think so.
I mean, Tom Holland's going to be old as shit.
Yeah, from what I remember, it was supposed to come out after Doomsday, but now it's coming out before Doomsday. From what I know,
then they must be changing the story then.
Yeah, because initially I think it was supposed to come out after.
You're right.
It was supposed to take those events into account.
It's just so weird. Like, wasn't after Doomsday's? God, we had a 5-hour chair stream. Holy fuck, have they run out of ideas? So let's start just from this is just recent for Agatha, that Agatha show that no one fucking watched. They had the
I watched it.
Did you like it?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't horrible. Like you know what it felt like? It felt very sitcom-y. And because Catherine Hahn is such a good actress, she kind of carries the show. You know what I mean?
Catherine Hahn, yeah, that was the name.
I'm kind of surprised to say this. Agatha wasn't bad.
You know what? I watched the first 4 episodes of it, and I dipped out after they became a rock band in that one episode. But it's not because I thought it was bad. It was because at that point I realized I'm not the audience for this.
You're not the audience. See, once you realize you're not the audience.
Yeah, it wasn't that I thought it was terrible. I especially given that I just watched The Acolyte, a few months before.
You know what else Agatha had going for it, and I think this is why it kind of changed my mind on it a lot when I was watching it. They were smart enough to put it out in October during Halloween. Right. So you got Halloween. It's a show about witches. It all kind of just meshed together the right way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'll give it that credit. Now, was it a good show? No.
Yeah, no, it wasn't good. But it was better.
But it wasn't horrible.
Yeah, it was better than I expected,
but
but I was not the audience. I had to dip out. Like I said, that episode where they turned into a rock band and they were just doing a rock rendition of the Witch's Ballad. I was like, okay, that's it. I'm done.
Like Catherine Hahn, they had Catherine Hahn licking knives for ASMR. I'm like, Marvel, you used to be called the House of Ideas, okay? I know things are tough in the MCU. I know. But Captain Han looking nice for 5 hours. Then they had a chair stream for 5 hours just revealing names. You know what would have been way more cool for that was actually maybe getting RDJ. He's already paid. He's gonna be in Doomsday anyway. Have RDJ show off like in pictures who's gonna be in it. Like make
That
it
would have been
more
good.
make
That
it
would have
more
been
fun.
cool.
It was just 5 hours of panning the chairs, and then he
Yeah,
said
that
on
was
Instagram,
dumb.
yeah, and then on Instagram he said there's more people that are gonna be announced. It's been like Tony, Artie, who the fuck you are. It's been like 2 months. Ain't nobody else announced. That's the cast. Right? He said there's more to be announced. No one's been announced. That's the cast. There's no way. Because apparently Scarlet Witch isn't gonna be in it. Famke Jensen, is that her name from the original Fox-Men X-Men universe,
Yeah,
whatever? She said
yeah.
she's not gonna be in it. Doctor Strange might not be in it. Spider-Man's not gonna be in it. So like, I don't know why he said more people were gonna be announced, unless he was under the impression that they were gonna sign more people after that announcement. It's like, well, the point of having an announcement is to sign whatever. But I also gonna keep them secret. I don't know, honestly.
Rumor has it that, I mean, we all heard the rumor that the Hulk is going to be in Spider-Man.
Yeah, we've heard that.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo. But what I'm hearing is that he's going to actually be the villain. Like
Yeah, I heard that
I
too.
heard they're bringing the Savage Hulk back,
Good.
and they're
Good.
dumping the Smart Hulk. So
Good.
God,
That,
Hulk
that
became
was a stupid
such-
decision to go with Smart Hulk to
I
begin
agree.
with.
I feel
Yeah.
like they. Oh my god, I don't. Because like even back, people forget this. Even when the MCU was in its prime, and a lot of people were just head over heels in love with it, nobody liked their decisions with the Hulk. That was always not liked, even when it was in its prime. Like the last time the Hulk was the Hulk was, you could argue, that first part of Ragnarok when he's just raging out at Thor. Like the
Yeah,
last time he was just
that's the last
legitimately
time we
Hulk.
saw the Savage Hulk.
Yeah. Then after that, he became, oh my god, he was Hulk in that Infinity War trailer. That they cut that out, so he's just Bruce Banner. It's because they don't want to pay Universal.
Well, he was Hulk at the
money to
beginning
have
of
it.
Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
Like
True.
when he fought Thanos.
But they, as you notice, they got rid of that quick because they know if they use him too long, then Universal's gonna want more of the money at the box office too. Like I feel like that's the reason why they don't want to use Hulk
Does
as much.
Universal still own the Hulk?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that
I
has
thought
to be
they
the reason
I
why
thought they
his
got the
screen
rights
time's
back.
limited. No, not for what I heard. No, but I could be wrong.
Huh.
Well, my understanding was there were some issues with the rights. I don't know. Maybe they did get it back, but isn't that why they didn't include the Hulk in Captain America: Brave New World?
Like
Because there were some
Universal
rights
actually
issues.
owns the rights to Namor, from what I heard too.
Yeah, but they put the Hulk in She-Hulk.
That's
Good
weird.
point.
Yeah, but he wasn't like. But keep in mind the screen time for that.
Was
He
that
actually
the
kind of.
Hulk?
Well,
That's
Smart
the
Hulk, but
joke.
whatever.
That's the joke right there. Was that really the Hulk, or was that some spoof parody version of the Hulk? Honestly,
Dude, I hated that show.
that show was so trash. Literally, like you know, She-Hulk's one of those shows you watch and you know it's trash, and then it's like one of those, you know, on YouTube there's those videos better than you remember. No, She-Hulk is worse than you remember. It's actually shittier the second rewatch.
One of my friends is a big She-Hulk fan, not the show. He just likes She-Hulk.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
He called me after that first episode because I was like, man, I'm just not digging these trailers. I don't really want to watch this. So you go and watch it and you tell me what you think. And he's like, okay, yeah. And he was all excited about it. He called me like 10 minutes into the show, maybe 20 minutes into the show, and he was just like, God, this is awful. And he ended up not finishing it. I think he went back to watch the finale just because he heard that the Hulk was going to fight the Abomination, and then that turned out to be a bunch of BS. So.
Yeah, it was all BS. And the problem is, man, is like the comic book of the She-Hulk is, you know, it is comedy. It's very tongue in cheek, right?
Mhm.
But the problem is with the show is the writers weren't smart enough to translate that. So it was just a dumb show.
Did you see the writer's room for it? Oh my god. I could tell. I'm not trying to be mean, but I could tell when I see women like that, I could tell you're gonna get some absolute dog shit. I'm not.
Yeah.
She had a shirt. Tatiana Maslany had a shirt that was like Troon rights and all that bullshit. I was like, okay, this is about to be some absolute garbage. The only scene that is good in She-Hulk was when that crazy white guy threw himself out the window, because that's us, the audience. I felt like that resonated with me. That's what I wanted to do.
I will say I don't want to say enjoy. That's kind of like a strong word. I sort of liked the episode with that chick Madison with Fong. Like I thought, like you know what? She's kind of funny. Other than that, though, yeah, I hated every episode,
Oh
including
gosh.
including the Daredevil episode.
I understand that certain things aren't made for me, but I would hope that comic book media would be made for comic book fans. And since they stopped that years ago, that's when I stopped caring.
Well, yeah, because
Well,
now they're again, like Chris Gore said, that they're trying to make a boys brand into a girls brand.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
I
what they
would
don't
also, yeah,
understand is that the female fans of this boys brand liked it as a boys brand. They liked it
Yes,
the way that it is. They didn't want it to change. They
yes.
didn't need it altered for them because they liked it the way that it was.
yeah. And it's one of these things where, you could always heavily debate on comic book accuracy of these movies, even when they first started, kind of like early heyday or even before then. But it still felt like you felt some genuineness out of them. Like you felt the campiness was campy, but you felt there was some actual fun there. There was some entertainment value there. Even if you were not a comic book fan of the characters, you could tell these were made somewhat decent, even though some of them were bad too. Because people factor in comic book fans are very, very niche of a niche. Keep in mind, these movies were able to appeal to people that weren't comic book fans, so they must be doing something good to grab
Right.
people in. It's when they turned to just, you could say, political. The underlying tones weren't
Right, because
underlying.
you got to make it general enough that normies can get into it, right? It can't just
Yeah,
be so niche that only comic
comic book
nerds
fans.
are into it. And
Yeah,
I get that. And you're talking to like one of the biggest comic nerds, man. I've been reading comics since 1985, right? So I'm hardcore, but at the same time, I know that to appeal to a mass audience, it has to be, tangible for them, right? The thing about She-Hulk 2, man, is and this is something they took completely out of the show, is there's a sex appeal to She-Hulk, man. Like in the comics, like she is horny, right? In the comics, she fucks everything. So and they took like that part of her out of the show, and it just made it so bland and so, you know, I don't know, man. It didn't have the same
okay, I'll
appeal.
ask you this: would you bang her in her She-Hulk form or her regular
Oh,
human?
absolutely in the She-Hulk phone. Yeah, I'll risk it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what, like, if you blew your load inside of her, wouldn't it kind of marinate with her body? Because it isn't.
Dude, honestly, I don't think a regular man's sperm is strong enough to do anything to her.
I don't think it is.
You know what I'm saying?
God, if she actually tried to ride you, no, that girl just has to take it from the back. If she
I mean,
rides you
look, here's the
cowgirl,
thing.
you're gonna
You
die.
might die.
You
You
might, you
might
will.
die in the process, you know.
Like, I'm just saying, if she's like, hey, after you got done pulling your dick out of her, obviously doggy style, you got back to rain. If she rides you, there's a good chance your pelvis is gonna break. No, you'll actually die. I'm not kidding. Like, that's a very strong character.
I
Very
mean,
well
hey, you
done.
roll the dice, and that's what you get, man. I mean, right? It's like
At least you're gonna die happy.
exactly death by snoo snoo, right? I
Or
mean,
you'll have like the best orgasm you ever had in your entire life.
and then die.
And
But happy.
yeah, like, you gotta look at those Fox X-Men movies. A lot of those movies made a lot of money. There's no way a lot of people even knew what X-Men comic books were even doing at the time.
No,
You
not
know,
at all.
but they managed to appeal enough to the point where, like, people knew they were giving Wolverine and Professor X and Magneto all the screen time. Like, people were picking up on some of the things. They just didn't know the comic book intricacies of it. But that's why I've always agreed. You need to make it normie focused, because you want to have it like being like a jumping on point, like comic books sometimes now have, where like this book is to be a jumping on point for you to get to know the character and fall in love with them. That's how the movie should be. But it should also fall in elements of the comic books, because, well, that's where the source material is at. That way, if they want to go and read about the character, they can find some sort of like familiarity with it. But now I feel like it's just, I don't know, man. Like,
Well, and this is the problem when people who don't respect the properties get in charge of making this
mhm,
stuff, man. I mean, I'll give you another great example. It has nothing to do with movies.
mhm.
But look at Mortal Kombat, right? The video game. Like from Mortal Kombat 11 up till now, till present. And this happened right when they had like a shift in their development, and they put this one tranny in charge of everything. All of a sudden, all of the women were clothed head to toe, right? No sexy outfits. Melina, Katana, dressed head to toe, covered up. And I'm like, okay, look, that's not why we play Mortal Kombat. But at the same time, you're taking something away from our experience of the game. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
it's you guys can show somebody getting decapitated with like, you know, toothpicks, but you know, you can't see a chick in a sexy outfit.
Right.
Again, people who know nothing about what we like, right? And trying to make it more girl friendly.
Right.
Yeah, even though girls have really never been the target audience, this is the argument and saying that I've been saying for a long time. It's like you have kids, or let's use it from a mindset as you were a kid, or if you have kids. You go to the toy section. The toy section is going to be even the toy section is like sectioned off between girl toys and boy toys. Well, I'm not going to take my son to a Barbie section of the toy section because he's not going to be. There's just 9 times out of 10 he will not be interested because he's just not interested in that. But if you take him to the dinosaur section, he'll be roaring like a T-Rex and be going crazy because that's something that he's geared towards. People have to understand this is geared towards males. So your target audience should be the male demographic between ages as young as 8 to like 44. The target audience shouldn't be women because they're not going to be interested as much as men. It's not to say they can't like it, because people always confuse the two. You can like it, but you shouldn't be the target audience because you're not going to be the highest spending gender of the property. The highest spending gender of the property should be the most catered to because I'm spending the most money. I can promise people, literally, the only reason why girls like some of this stuff is because their boyfriend or husband like it. You ask
Exactly.
them what they like about this shit, they just can't
Yeah.
tell you. That's understandable. If you like it just because your husband supports it, your boyfriend does, that's fine. I think that's a really cool thing girls can do. But like they're not the target audience. I don't know why they should ever be the target audience. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that thing that Ike Perlmutter said about female superhero movies is true though. Like, a lot of them, like, you gotta consider this. Is a males would probably watch a female superhero movie more often not than a girl will.
Yeah, we proved that with the Marvels. More men went to see the Marvels than women.
Well, didn't more men go see
white
Wonder
men
Woman also?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, more men saw that too. Yep.
More men saw Madam Web than women.
That's true.
You know what's crazy for the
I'm
Marvels?
sad to say I saw that.
You know what's crazy? Yeah, you bring up the Marvels. I know Marvel hates straight white men or portrays that they do. The highest demographic of men that went and watched the Marvels was straight white men.
Yeah.
And then it was Mexicans, then it was blacks. And girls on Twitter go, how dare you talk shit about the Marvels? It's made for women. Well, you didn't go support it. All the men that you apparently hate supported it. Like, I'll even give Marvel credit for this. They even gave women superhero female-led movies. They didn't go see them in mass because reality is they're not the target audience for that. Either or. Because these companies think, if I give you a female version of that, then that means the women are gonna go watching this untapped like math. They think this is mythical audience of women that just like this stuff. Like, we even use like anime, and sometimes girls even like the boy stuff too. They like it just the way it is. Like, there's girls that like Dragon Ball Z. They like it just the way we do. There's no difference in it. So if you made a Dragon Ball Z movie and Goku is fucking a Mexican and he's 300 pounds and he's fucking rolling down hills, yeah, they're not gonna like that because they liked it just the way it was. I just don't get this mindset where they feel like they need to get women to be fans of the product, even though they're not. They're going to be like you said earlier, with how we are as people when it comes to YouTube criticism. We're a microcosm, honestly. Women are such a small percentage of like a lot of this male dominated space. It's not even worth even paying attention to. If I'm actually looking at a spreadsheet in a board in an executive room, I would be like, I'm sorry guys, that's not worth entertaining. It's too small. The margins are too thin and it's not worth it. Literally, you could just make a guy superhero movie and just have it appeal towards women and just have the guy look good. Literally, if the guy looks good, women will watch. Case in point, Aquaman. Aquaman for 2018 did that. A lot of girls only wouldn't watch that because he just looks good. That's it.
But
Their
on
mindset is nothing.
on the flip side of that, you have a movie like Barbie where more women turned out for that,
and they should.
Right? Women supported Barbie, right?
Yeah.
How come they didn't support the Marvels?
That's so sad.
Case in point, I was actually just about to mention Barbie. Is let's say they tried to man Barbie up and they tried to make a Ken movie. It's still going to be women going to see that. It's not going to be the men going out to see, oh, well, now we finally got a male lead in Barbie and now we got to go see it. No, we're not going to go see that. That's not our brand.
It'll still be women. Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, they can't get that. And they think that, yeah, if they just put a woman lead in there that, oh, now women are going to go see it. No, it was a male brand that had female fans that liked it the way that it was. You didn't
Mhm.
need to go and change that.
Or you Star Wars too. Star
Yeah.
Wars. I would say, arguably, if you ask me, I think it's 95% male dominated, 5% women. That's being very generous. The five
That's been
percent of women,
generous, yeah.
the 5% of women liked it just the way it was. No, I'm pretty sure you could. I know a little bit of Star Wars too. There were female led characters in Star Wars that were cool, even from comic books and video games and movies. You didn't need to make a female led one. That wasn't going to be the make or break. People are going to watch Star Wars regardless because it's just Star Wars. You know, like I just don't get this catering to women. It's just not going to work in spaces like these because it's just all males. I feel like they generally feel like they're doing something wrong to not get women, but it's like there's nothing you can do. It's going to be geared towards us. We like this stuff more. Remember that video that back in the day that took 5 little girls, 5 little boys, put them in a room. They gave the boys toys. They gave the
Oh
girls
yeah,
like
yeah.
house stuff. The guys wanted to build up and make their heroes and whatever, but the girls were like, I want to just be homemakers. That's just, you can't change that stuff. Yeah, superhero comics are gonna appeal
Yeah,
to boys
some things are
more.
hardwired, man. And the problem
Yeah.
is, I'll tell you what the problem is. What they want to do, or what they've been trying to do for years now, is they're trying to blur the lines, right? They're
Hmm.
trying to make it where there is no gender. It's like boys can, love pink and love dolls and wear dresses, and girls can, play with the boy shit and cut their hair off. And they're trying to blur these lines instead of like accepting the fact that, hey, yeah, guess what? Gender roles fucking exist, right? And there's nothing you could do to like program it out of us.
Yeah.
I
And
think what they
they're
do,
learning a hard lesson, right? Because they're losing money by doing
Lots of
this.
it. Lots of money.
I think what they do is that they look at the exceptions and they try to make
Yeah.
that the rule instead of this is the rule and these are the exceptions. Yes, are there some boys that like pink?
Have a good night,
Yes.
lads.
Are there some women who want to have a butch haircut? Yeah, but that's the
But it's
exception.
not the norm. You're right.
That's not the norm. Most women like pink, or most men like blue. I mean, or black, or something like that. It's just different.
But all they've done though, all they've done is they've sown distrust now with their audience, right? That's the problem. Now we don't trust them. Now we're not going to go to support. Dude, there was a time when the MCU, it was like printing money. Anything they put out, we were there day one. We would stay through all the credits, right? There was a time when the MCU, it just meant money, right? Now they lost our trust.
Yeah. Literally, I mean, Iron Man 3, I remember after the Avengers came out, hit $1 billion. And keep in mind, that's not a good movie, but in that time frame, the next thing coming, it's all you cared about.
Everybody
I
went to
need
see
the
it.
next thing. Yeah. It happened like Transformers, not the new Transformers of nowadays where they're Decepticons, but the Michael Bay led ones. Like people caught on that these were never gonna be what the animated cartoons were in that
Right.
original movie, and and you knew it in the box office numbers. I talk about you had one of you guys said earlier the international audience was bigger for one. Transformers was always like that. People in America already kind of stopped paying for them because they kind of knew what these were going to be about. And like Paramount at this point, they tanked Transformers. I mean, Michael Bay, it's not even you could argue it. He killed Transformers as far as a IP on
He
screen.
did. Oh, dude, I was done after Transformers 2.
Yeah, they took the twins. They killed off what was the character that Megatron ripped in half in the first one? I forgot his name. Oh my god. Sideswipe?
Oh, Jazz.
Jazz. They killed Jazz. They killed Ironhide. They killed Jetfire. They took out the twins. They killed Ratchet. You fucking killed Ratchet.
Yeah, dude, I was
done.
I was done after 2. I'm like, you know what? I'll never support another Michael Bay
I
Transformers.
was just done after 3. People like, when we're gonna get a Transformers 4. I'm like, we're done. 3's enough.
I did like Bumblebee. I thought
that was
Bumblebee
good,
was pretty good,
but that wasn't Michael Bay though.
Yeah, no,
that was Travis Knight. Yeah.
And then the last one they did, Rise of the Beasts, I at least like the design. I at least like the design of the Transformers better in that one.
Rise of the Beasts wasn't bad.
The movie itself wasn't good, but
it wasn't horrible.
Least, but it wasn't horrible. I did like it better than some of the Michael Bay ones, and I liked the design of the Transformers. If that had been the movie that had come out, several years ago before we got all the Michael Bay ones, I think it would have been much better. People would have been more accepting of it. But
Right.
kind of goes back to what you said about the MCU. They lost our trust at that point.
Yeah, and Transformers, people who are like, well, Transformers went woke. No. Transformers had already lost people probably around number 3. You just knew what they were about. Like,
Yeah.
it clicked in your brain. Something about the moon, something about something. That plot doesn't make sense. Action, boobs, and more action. So, like, after Age of Extinction, people were like, I'm done. Because it took a 3-year break, new cast. People were like, okay, I'm
Yeah, because
optimistic.
it came back with Mark Wahlberg, right?
Yeah, a 3-year hiatus. You built up the hype to it and everything. Last Night comes out later. After Last Night, that hit $1 billion. And keep in mind, Age of Extinction made, I think, $100 million less in its billion in dollars than Dark of the Moon. Dark of the Moon's the highest grossing one. Everything tanked of that. Even people said Transformers 1 wasn't that bad, but it doesn't matter. The damage is done. It's the same thing like the MCU. You put enough bad movies in a row, people just tune out. It's just how the average person works. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm not saying that's how it should be, but that's how people feel. They feel like if you burn them enough times, they're out. And you can't get those fans back. You cannot get fans back for Transformers. You can't. I saw Rise of the Beast myself, though I would agree it's not the worst one. It still feels like the May ones. Keep in mind, those Beast Wars characters, all useless in the plot. Because the trailers were, they're coming in, they're going to be like teaming with the Autobots and everything. They didn't. They come in late in the plot. And they don't really actually do anything in the plot.
They could have left them out, and it still would have been.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have changed the outcome, really, Eddie.
I'd rather have Megatron. That guy we had, Scar. Like, what was that guy?
Oh yeah.
Oh
that sucked.
God,
the villain sucked in that one.
Oh good lord, man! Like, and then Paramount, they also tanked G.I. Joe. Wait, yeah, they have G.I. Joe, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Rise of Cobra, garbage. Oh my God, fucking Marlon Wayans and Channing.
Here's the thing, man. You got one of the most iconic characters in the world, right? Cobra Commander.
Yes,
and we don't ever get Cobra Commander in his outfit.
Wasn't he in Retaliation?
We don't ever get the Cobra Commander that we all know and love. Like, to me, that was stupid, dude. We didn't get Destro the way we want him. We didn't get Zart. We didn't get any of those characters that we love, man. Like, you talking about blowing it? Oh, they blew it with G.I. Joe, man. That could have been $1 billion.
The thing I was talking about earlier, the worst thing you remember, because I remember I only watched the 80s G.I. Joe cartoon. I never had the toys or the comics or anything. I just watched
I had the toys. I watched the 80s cartoon. I was the 80s
cartoon slapped when you watched it. Cobra's voice, that'll always be iconic. The whininess of it is
dude, that's cool. What I'm saying. Dude, it's like you have one of the most iconic like characters, period, man. And this is what you do.
And then remember, after Rise of Cobra, I remember this idea, but I never could actually realize how bad it was. Think about this, guys. G.I. Joe is known for being like a big group of people. Group. Like Duke and Roadblock and Snake Eyes and the lady. What's her name? Fucking hell.
Lady J, Scarlet.
Scarlet. Then, remember how bad. This is when we didn't realize how bad Hollywood was going to get. This is back in 2012. So their idea of a G.I. Joe franchise is going to kill them all off, and you're just left with Roadblock, The Rock, and Snake Eyes, and then the girl, Scarlet, and the other Mexican dude. Keep in mind, G.I. Joe is known for being a group of people. Didn't they kill him
in the first 5 minutes, too?
Yeah, so I thought about this, a few days ago when I was at work. That might be straight up one of the dumbest things any studio's ever done. G.I. Joe, known for a big group of people, American, all that stuff they're known for. They kill every single one of them off. That is actually just straight up franchise suicide. And people were like, but Retaliation is a better movie than... Doesn't matter. Why would you go and watch a G.I. Joe movie without checks notes, the G.I. Joe? And they delayed the movie a year, remember? Because they wanted to have more of a connection with Channing Tatum's character and Roadblock's character. But then they killed Channing Tatum's character off in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was shocked when they killed Duke. I'm like...
And I knew they were going to do it because they had said, oh, we're going to take... Because in 2012, you had Avengers that came out, Dark Knight Rises, and Andrew Garfield's movie. So they're like, okay, we'll push it to a 2013. Okay? Because they wanted to have more scenes with Roadblock and Duke. Well, Duke's killed off in like 5 minutes. They kill off every Joe. But they left Snake Eyes. I like Snake Eyes myself, but like, if you kill off all, that's like going to watch a Transformers movie, if Optimus Prime or none of the good ones you like, and you just have fucking, I don't know, buttfuck nobody. That's not like a movie to you? Like, they literally kill off every single Joe. And I'm like, this can't survive. You just commit franchise suicide. Even if you get a better movie, doesn't matter. Does not matter. You killed off the entire group. That is so stupid. I actually thought about that recently. I was like, that's actually stupid. And then you get the worst movie of all time potentially, Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. That's one of the worst
I
movies
never
I've
saw
ever
it.
seen.
I never saw it.
You could hang yourself and you wouldn't miss anything in that movie. That movie's booty shit.
Yeah,
And
I had no plans on watching that.
such a and now they're talking about doing a Transformers G.I. Joe crossover. Oh yeah, 2 failing franchises. Can't
I
wait
don't
to
think
have
that
a
it's
bigger
ever going to
flop.
happen.
That's never gonna
I
happen.
don't.
Yeah, they're gonna merge a flop with a flop and make a bigger flop. Like what?
Actually, I heard that is happening.
Is it? It's still going to happen?
It's going to happen.
So
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was going to be based on
I heard the announcement. We haven't heard
the
anything about it
final
since then.
box office numbers for Rise of the Beast.
I've been hearing rumblings. It's yeah, it's
gonna
still on the
happen.
table.
So,
So
All right.
what was that guy? D Bonaventura, whatever his name is. He gave a comment on it recently because I know they announced it and it's hinted in Rise of the Beast. But ever since like the announcement and the movie's end credit scene, we haven't really heard much about it, honestly. And Transformers 1 bombed after Rise of the Beast. Like I think we're gonna get it, but G.I. Joe's never been a good franchise at all live action. It's been really, really bad. Transformers, you could always argue was bad, but it was kind of so good it's bad until it just got really, really, really bad. What are they gonna do? I've never seen the appeal of combining the two. GI Joes are significantly weaker than a base
I mean,
Decepticon.
I think if they do it, I think this is why what they're trying to do is they're trying to give it space. They're trying to like make you forget about the older stuff, so that when a new one comes out, it's kind of fresh and new.
Yeah.
Which I think by now most people have forgotten about the last Transformers
Retaliation.
movie.
Yeah. Keep in mind, like I agree. I agree with this because you heard rumblings about The Rock trying to take over franchises. I believe The Rock tried taking over GI Joe and feeling like he could just market it and be bigger than the Joes themselves. When it's like either that was Paramount going, okay, you're The Rock, you can get us a lot of money, because like that is so stupid. If you really think about it, GI Joe, which is known as a big group of characters, all of them get killed off. Why
Yeah.
should I care? Like it's oh god, man. If we knew what we knew, what's that thing it said? Thing in Halloween Kills. If we know now what we knew then we would know better how to do it differently in the future. Goodness gracious, good job Paramount. You tanked your whole franchise, and now they want to combine the two. Why? What would combining them do? You get like $100 million the box office. They might actually make no money to doing that. It makes no sense to do, honestly. What other franchises Paramount tanked? I mean, they had Mission Impossible is over. They still have Scream. They have Ninja Turtles. Did you
I
guys
think Paramount right now they're doing okay. They're not. I mean, obviously they're not going to compete with Warner Brothers right now, or even Disney, to be honest with you. But they're doing fairly okay though.
I mean, they
They
take
do have
Star
Star
Trek.
Trek.
So, yeah.
Don't get people started on that. People would hate us. I mean, I could only imagine they didn't do Star Trek any good recently. It's
Oh
Paramount.
God, Star Trek is fucking awful.
Oh my God, they did a Halo TV show. That is the worst show ever. The Halo TV show is dookie juice.
It was
actually
bad.
terrible.
It was bad. It was so bad, in fact, it made me really nervous for Fallout. But Fallout turned out to be really good.
I remember they have the worst sex scene of all time in that show. It is terrible. The AI is beaten off to the that show is terrible. And you knew it was gonna be bad
Wait,
when
in the
they
Halo
said,
show?
or in this Halo show, or no, it felt like the AI girl was getting turned on from him having
Wow.
sex. Did you not? Man, I watched.
I didn't watch it.
I heard it was bad, so I just didn't watch.
Oh no, it's worse than you could ever possibly imagine.
And it's funny because Paramount, they actually have some decent shows on there. I mean, they seem to be taking these franchises, but they actually got some good shows. Like I'm watching Mobland right now, and that's pretty dang good.
Yeah,
I heard Mobland is like the best show right now.
Yeah, it's really good.
You already knew the Halo show was gonna be bad when the writers said, "Yeah, we're just gonna do our own thing and not do it based off any of the lore." You automatically know that's gonna be some trash. When anyone says that, you're like, all right, yeah, why not use this whole world that's already built? I'm better than the world. I can do my own thing.
I mean, that's why Henry Cavill quit The Witcher, man.
Yeah.
Didn't they replace him with Chris Hemsworth's brother or something?
Yeah, Liam, yeah.
Did that ever come out, that new season with Liam Hemsworth?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know about that, and I also don't know about what's happening with Henry Cavill's Warhammer show. Because that's supposed to be coming.
The only thing I know that's wrapped filming that he is in, I could be wrong. Wasn't he supposed to be casted in that Voltron movie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they wrapped
So
filming
that
on it.
that Voltron movie, that's the only thing he's got coming out in the
He's
recent years.
supposed to be in Highlander too,
You're right, yeah.
and I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't know what's going on with that. Like I haven't heard anything about production or anything. But yeah, Voltron is done. So good for him.
Yeah, hey, Henry Cavill, I'm not the hugest fan of the man's acting. As long as someone else is the lead actor, I'm good. Because that man leading is struggling. Holy crap. The man can lead a movie to save his life. I saw a episode of The Witcher and I was like, this man, it's like, Henry, you can't act. It's okay, man. It's
Well, in
fine.
all fairness, he really wasn't the lead in The Witcher.
Yeah.
That was a bait and switch there. So
Oh God.
but he was a good Geralt though.
yeah,
Or
I thought he was good.
Geralt.
Yeah, Geralt.
He looked very good. I'll give you that too.
I actually enjoyed the first season. They started losing me with the second season.
Oh, I
and
was
then-
done. Second season, I was like, I'm out.
Yeah, they started losing me then, and then when I heard that he was leaving after the third season, that he had finished it and was leaving, I didn't even watch the third season. And I heard that spinoff was so bad that I was just like,
The third
gonna pick
season
this up.
was awful. I watched 3 or 4 of the episodes and I tapped out. I'm like, can't do it.
This is how. Okay, before we go, this is how I know people are retarded. I'm sorry. You guys remember the Dark Knight and they're mourning that black dude? He got killed, the previous commissioner.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my! And they had the funeral, and Joker's not wearing his makeup because obviously you don't need, guys. There's some things in life that don't need to be explained. Someone literally said right here, I have to prove how stupid people are. Why did Joker remove his makeup in the police parade? Do you have to have that explained to you?
That's funny.
That just goes without saying. Yes, he should walk out there in his purple jacket. It should just. What? It's like
I don't know. Maybe he wanted to blend in.
maybe, yeah. I thought that needs to be explained. Context
That's a
clues.
thought.
Yeah. He's just gonna walk out there in his white makeup and his purple jacket. It's a man who's literally wanted for like murder and arson. Now I walk out looking like, oh my, you people are so fucking stupid. I hate you people on Twitter. Jesus Christ. Why doesn't Batman wear his mask when he appears in public? This is why these people need everything explained to them. Oh my God. Why would he blend in with the police to shoot someone? There's the mystery. I'll let you figure it out. Just let you know that. Verbal Riot had a post recently that hit where he was like, it's I think you're getting tired of that word objectively, where someone will say objectively this movie's bad because whatever objective reason they think it's bad, and then you'll be like, well, the movie's not objectively bad doesn't make it true, you know?
Yeah, objectively, I forgot which one, what movie they were talking. Oh, yeah,
Black Panther.
he says Sinners was objectively
Sinners, yeah.
bad, and I'm like, yeah, no, dude, you don't know how words work. That's not what objective is.
I feel like the word objectively you could argue using that word has ruined film criticism. Like everyone just says it and they think it's just people don't understand that's a subjective thing, not
yeah.
Yeah.
It's subjective to begin with. It's a movie. It's a piece of art. It's gonna be subjective.
The way you would use objective is like if I said I objectively think I could have written the scene better. That's how you use an objective point.
Right.
But a subjective thing is like I subjectively don't like this movie. That's how you use the word subjective. Everyone uses the word objectively in movie criticism. It's like you're using this like the word simp and the word like freaking many other like Nazi or freaking any other buzzword you could think of. Fucking hell, man.
Dude, even the Acolyte isn't objectively bad. You know what I mean? It's like there are some people who do like it or who thought it was good for some reason. That aren't Shields, right? So even the Acolyte isn't objectively bad. It's subjectively bad for sure. But
I would say though that's the closest to objectively bad
close,
you can get
right?
to.
It's very close to objectively bad.
God, man. Like, hey, I mean, there was one, I think Epic Mike hit a huge tweet on, or a person called Black Panther objectively bad.
Oh yeah, I saw that tweet.
That one, yeah. Black Panther. Have you guys recently thought about it? The 2018 one? Do you feel
Oh no, it was Black Panther. It wasn't Sinners. My bad. It was Black Panther. Me and Mike commented on the same post.
Do you guys feel like, I don't know, back then I felt this way too. I feel like a lot of critics that weren't black were saying it was good because they didn't want to get called racist for saying it wasn't that good. I mean, I don't hate. Remember watching Black Panther? I thought it was fine. It had some problems, but I didn't think it was the worst thing they had put out since then.
No, I enjoyed it actually. It had nothing to do with the fact that it was black. It was just that it was a cool movie. It was a different kind of
Yeah.
MCU film at the time.
Yeah.
So no, there. But here's the thing: the problem it goes both ways. There were people who hated it because it was an all black cast as well. You know what I mean? Because look, say what you want, man. I mean, I don't throw that word around very much, but there were some racist motherfuckers out there who were like, they were clowning it before the movie even came out, right? Like before they even saw it. They were saying some bad shit about the cast and about the movie. So I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, you got idiots on both sides of the spectrum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only thing that I disagree with about the movie is that they were trying to nominate that shit for Best Picture. Like, all right, what are we doing?
Yeah, like for me, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was an above average Marvel movie. I thought it was like I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. Did I think it was as good as what they were making it out to be? No,
it didn't deserve an Oscar or nothing crazy like that. I mean, like
people were comparing to like
even
the
got
Dark
nominated.
Knight.
But
People were like, this is the greatest movie ever made. I was like, what?
Didn't it come out the same year as Infinity War? Because I remember
there were February. People, Black History Month.
Because I remember there were people saying at that time that they thought it was better than Infinity War, and I was like, no,
that's crazy.
Let's not go that far. You see, that's what I mean. That I thought, it wasn't as good as what they made it out to be, and I kind of felt the same way about Sinners. I thought Sinners was really good. I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. But there were people out there saying, "Oh, this thing should be nominated for Best Picture," and whatnot. I'm like, no, let's not go that far. I didn't think Sinners was that good. But I thought it was really good. I had a really good time with it.
Oh, God. I remember, people were saying Black Panther was one of the greatest super movies ever made. I was like, all right, that's
crazy.
That's you on. Like, I mean, the only things that I didn't have that many problems with it. The only problems I had, the CGI was bad. I mean, it was wonky. But I think people took that CGI argument and were like, oh, the CGI is bad, so I mean, the movie must be bad. It's like, okay, that's not.
I never had a bad moment of CGI. A heck, a lot of moments. Movies that way. You could go and look at the Lord of the Rings, and there are a few moments in there where a couple of CGI.
But people were basically saying like, oh, because it has bad CGI, that means it must be a bad movie. It's like, okay, that's just stupid. That's just off. Whenever I hear analysis like that, I usually just go like, all right, you're just being hyperbolic. Like that's just stupid. The only thing,
I mean, I feel like the standard of superhero films for me would be, Winter Soldier or Matthew Vaughn's X-Men movie.
First Class.
First Class.
Banger.
First Class. I think First Class might be one of the best superhero films.
That's awesome. I love First Class.
I go back and rewatch that. I wish we had got so much more of that, but
right.
But yeah, I mean, Black Panther for me wouldn't even rank up there with those, or even close to it. You know what I mean?
Black Panther wouldn't be close in the top 10 for me at all. I can easily name 10 ones better than it. Actually, if you did the top 20, it wouldn't really be there. That's it
might be in my top 20, but definitely not in the top 10.
Yeah,
I'd probably put it in my top 20, but it wouldn't be in my top 10 either. I just think there are way too many MCU films that are better than, and just comic book movies, period. There are so many that are way better.
Even I remember, to be fair, I will always say the best thing about Black Panther was Killmonger. Oh, good lord! People said that was the best MCU villain. Come on, we had been in the MCU for like 10 years at that point. People consider him the best MCU villain up.
He
to,
might
like,
be.
Thanos
I think Killmonger might be top 5 for sure.
Has to be. Yeah, if you look back now. Black Panther had all that criticism. It had the best. It had one of the best MCU villains by far.
Well, the thing is with him, he's a villain that's memorable. That's the thing. A lot of these villains in the MCU are not memorable at all.
No, they do these villains horribly, man.
Yeah,
but Killmonger is one of those that you think about. Yeah,
and you actually listen to his arguments, and you're like, okay, maybe he's got a point.
Right.
Yeah. So that's
and usually the best villains have something you agree with.
Right.
You just don't agree with their methods of enacting their plan.
Right.
Yeah. Because even back when the MCU was what's in its prime, there was always two main arguments against it. The villains were always bad, and the Hulk always sucked.
Yeah.
The Hulk was never liked. literally after like Avengers, it was just he was treated so. Remember the Age of Ultron thing where he was just a simp for Black Widow? I'm like, what is this? What the fuck was that? You
To
know?
be
Yeah,
honest,
I wish Marvel has. I wish they would have done better by their villains. I think Hela was good. Like she was a
Yeah.
solid villain,
Mhm.
but honestly, I kind of wish they would have kept Bucky as a villain
A little bit longer.
a
Felt
little
like
bit longer. Like I wish we got
yeah.
a few more movies with him as the Winter Soldier, not as Bucky. You know what I
What
mean?
happened to that guy from Iron Man 2? Not Whiplash. Justin
Oh,
Hammer.
Justin
What happened to
Hammer. Yeah, I
what
mean they
happened to
could have
that
brought him
guy?
back.
Yeah.
there was rumors that they were going to bring him back, and then it just kind of fizzled out. Never heard
Yeah.
anything about it again.
Obadiah Stane wasn't that bad for a first villain. I feel like he just kind of
Oh,
falls
he was
off.
fine for a first
He was
villain.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah. Who else is
because
there? I mean,
remember, like there was no MCU at that point. Right?
yeah.
That it was just Iron Man the movie.
Michael Keaton Vulture is always going to be up there for a lot of people. I feel like he was a solid.
He honestly, I'd put him up there. He'd be up there
Yeah.
for me.
Who else is
I
there?
thought
Unless you
Vulture
count
was
Baron
really
Zemo
good.
from Civil War.
It was all right. Yeah, he's better than a lot of the other MCU villains that we've
Because I'm
gotten.
trying. There's a lot of like Malekith. It's bad. Loki. I feel like Loki up until Thor Ragnarok, I couldn't stand Loki anymore. I feel like they really shitted on his character at that point. Like they made
I
him to
just
be the
don't.
sympathetic bad guy too much.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that like they never really gave us like real Loki, right? Like that's kind of always been my problem. Like Loki is a
Yeah,
trickster. He's evil as fuck.
the
Like we
strength
never
too.
really
They never
got
made
that
him
kind of
strong.
Loki.
He was always treated like a weak character. Like Loki's pretty powerful. He can't beat Thor, but like he's
I mean, but he
stronger.
has beaten Thor,
Yeah.
several times in the comics.
hmm Why
But
was
but
he
but
always
but, but he's
weak?
beaten Thor by
Yeah.
he beat Thor by outsmarting him though.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just don't know why they always made him like a weak character. He was never strong. He was always just he had the trickster part, but he never was. I was like, MCU always had a power imbalance too. Like, remember Infinity War where they're fighting all these freaking villains, and then Wanda comes down and just knocks them all out, and Okoye's like, what was she doing up there all the time? And you're really thinking like she just didn't let us all get our ass handed to us.
But
Like,
in all
fuck her.
fairness, that is Wanda. Like Wanda is like one of the most powerful people. Like so.
Oh god, remember people used to have the debates of like Captain America holding Thanos' hand? I'm like, guys, he's not holding his hand because people don't understand how fight scenes go. They happen so much faster, but it's like slowed down for our own perception to see a fight. He wasn't holding Thanos' hand. That may have happened for like half a second,
Half a
maybe,
second,
and
yeah.
then he
Right.
threw him off. People were actually going like, he couldn't be able to hold Thanos' arm. He's not. That's like in a millisecond.
Yeah,
of
it's in
things
slow
happening.
motion there.
Yeah, good lord. Because after you see that scene, he just throws him away because that's how that should go in any context ever, honestly. But you guys are all morons. I'm the smartest guy on the planet. I have a 200 IQ. I'm Shikamaru, actually. But we'll start with the verbal riot. We're gonna head out of here. We had a great show tonight. Do you have anything planned that you would like to let the audience know about?
Yeah, just you guys can catch my show on Thursday, 6 p.m. California time, PST, VRL, doing it every week, and might have a special guest. I'm still waiting to hear back from her, but if she agrees, it's going to be a pretty big guest. So tune
Did
in.
you have Nina Infinity and Anna, Star Wars Girl, on already?
Yeah, last week I had Nina. Anna couldn't make it because she's a new mom. Some things happened, and you know how that
Okay.
goes.
Yeah.
But me and Nina tore it up. We had a good time. And yeah, this week I'm working that out for this week, so we'll see. But tune in.
Just go get fucking Star Wars Explained. Get that couple on. Have them actually tell you why Star Wars: The Last Jedi is a good movie.
Dude, that couple band, they blocked me a long time ago.
What did you do?
Oh,
too
because
honest about
I called them out like when that whole Star Wars theory thing happened.
I remember that.
and-
Oh my god, that was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got pissed off. They blocked me. Kyle Katarn blocked me. Like all
Oh,
of
that
those
guy's
Star
a fucking
Wars shields
pussy-ass
blocked
bitch.
me
Yeah.
basically.
Oh my god, when Star Wars Theory had revealed that his wife had to hold him in bed at night because he was more successful.
Dude, that video is legendary, man. Like that's one of the greatest videos, like YouTube videos I've seen in like years, man. I've
Oh,
never seen anyone like take somebody to task that hard on YouTube.
and I knew he was a cuck when I saw that man wearing a freaking Leia cosplay. You know a man's a weirdo if he's wearing that shit.
Oh,
You
the
know
slave Leia, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you know
that
he
was some
gets fucked in
wild
the ass
shit.
by a dildo. You know she wears a strap on in that relationship. I can tell. He probably love when he bent over in that thing. Fucking weirdos.
And the crazy thing about it, man, is Star Wars Theory, he tore them apart with just receipts. He just used receipts. Like, he wasn't like yelling, he wasn't being an asshole, he was just like reading receipts. And they never recovered from that.
So Bob loves movies. What you have planned coming up that you would like to let the audience know about?
Honestly, I don't really have anything coming up this week. I'm actually going to be out of town on, I wish I could say vacation, but I have to go out of town for a family issue. So I'm going to be out for a few days. Hopefully, when I get back, I can get a review out of The Karate Kid and maybe get it out. Hopefully by Sunday, we'll see. And then, of course, the podcast on my other channel at Dad's Turn to Talk. They're going to be doing the show for the first time without me, so that'll be kind of fun to go back and watch it as a audience member for once instead of actually as a participant. So that'll be kind of interesting. But yeah, this week got other stuff going on, so nothing really this week coming up.
Yeah, and as you guys know, for me, I have podcasts and game streams throughout the week. You know, we're getting close to our goal of hitting 300 episodes, and then after that I'm gonna make a hard push to hit 500. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna do the same shit. So tomorrow, Laps Comic Fan, we have our show about 4:30 p.m. PST. Probably gonna do a game stream after that. I still have to record last week's episode for Comic Book Market Watch. I'm probably going to do that later on tonight after I rest up a little bit after this. And Wednesday, there's no me and Professor Savage Dad show this week because he's on vacation. So we'll just start the panel show earlier with me, Gray, and Lunchbox Warren. Labs Comic Fan might show up for that one too. Thursday is just the Cloud9 podcast. And if we finish that up in time early, then I could have the show with Lunchbox Warren. Friday, me and Lunchbox Warren show. And then Saturday, that's going to be the second day for the Cloud9 podcast because I realize Sunday is just too hard on me to do the Cloud9 podcast as a second day, but I feel like Saturday is a better day to do it. So the main day is Thursday, but Saturday is the next day that we're going to have it because it's usually supposed to be twice a week to cover a lot of the games for League of Legends. The time for the show is going to be around the same time as the Thursday episode, 7:30 p.m. PST. So yeah, thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show. Happy Memorial Day to everybody out there. Hopefully you guys had a great